At DePaco Credit Union, we value your health and happiness as much as your financial well-being. We encourage the volunteer spirit by providing DePaco employees with the tools and resources to help grow our communities and support the causes that matter to us. We believe that giving back not only strengthens the places we call home, but also enhances our overall well-being. Well-being is the key to a life worth loving. So when you think about yours, remember that DePaco can help you be well.
All things Hawkeyes. Your all-access pass from the sidelines to the postgame. Iowa's News Now Sports presents Eye on the Hawks. Sponsored by DePaco Community Credit Union and Pin Seekers.
Oh, we don't even have a sound on tape, as we would call it, any sort of sound bite for you to listen to, because it's a Friday edition, a bonus edition this bye week, where we look at how wrong we've been throughout the 2025 Hawkeye football season. Mitch Fick, Owen Sebring, Mike Cowell, Director Eric behind the scenes running everything on this special edition of Eye on the Hawks, where we are going to revisit our preseason predictions and make some tweaks in some cases, our offensive and defensive MVPs, our breakouts, and we'll revisit our bold predictions and see how we're feeling about that stuff. 5 games in, of course, Iowa 3-2, 1-1 in the Big Ten. Looking ahead to Wisconsin next Saturday, 6 p.m. kick on FS1 for the battle for the Heartland Trophy. Let's tee it up right away with Pin Seekers with our offensive MVP, where we've been pretty solid across the board, revisiting our picks in the preseason. Mike and I had Mark Gronowski. Owen had Reese Vanderzee, which again, addition by subtraction, may be showing how right you were. We'll see if he comes back and is the MVP for 7 games. But we are in consensus moving in 5 games into the season that Mark Gronowski is your offensive MVP. Fellas, why did you decide to go with number 11 as number 1 so far?
For lack of a lot of other options, frankly. I mean, Mark Gronowski has been good. He certainly had his struggles at first, but things are starting to show a little bit more, and we hope that he's going to be back after an injury like that. I mean, it's not like he's setting the world on fire with his passing statistics right now. That shot
is fire, though. I love that shot. You got him at, yeah, there you go. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way.
People that recognize game, they know. But yeah, having a rushing touchdown in every game so far, that is significant. He's doing things on the ground as a Hawkeye quarterback that have not been done in decades. So you got to respect his run game, and hopefully that is still going to be part of his arsenal when he comes back from injury. But yeah, so he seems to be able to keep this team in it, and he's starting to move the ball down the field a little bit more. His confidence seems to grow every game, so that's why we hope to have him back against Wisconsin, and why I think he's been the best player on the offense. Also, just because there have been so many injuries in the running back room. Vanderzee has been out. Tight ends are getting injured. DJ Vanami is starting to emerge maybe as a favorite tight end weapon for Gronowski, but other than that, there's just not a lot of other people to pick from on offense.
And it's hard to just pick one lineman, right? Yeah. I feel like that has to be a group, and when you're going to one player. Iowa scored 17 touchdowns. Mark, 10 of them, 7 on the ground, 3 in the air. That's 60% of their touchdown. That's 60% of their touchdowns this year. Only Caden Weegan, who has 4, and Seth Anderson, who has 2, have more than 1. So, I mean, when you break it down like that, when you're scoring the ball that much, like, it was easy for me. And then looking forward, me personally, if Mark's healthy and playing, I think Iowa can, I'm not saying they will, can compete and win all the games on the schedule.
Absolutely.
Not like go undefeated, but like win on any given Saturday.
Every game.
Yeah.
Every game, yeah.
If not, me personally, I think, 6-6 if we're lucky.
Yeah. It is interesting, too, with the offensive MVP, a guy who ranks, I mean, among Big Ten starters, he's last in the Big Ten in yards and passing touchdowns. But, hey, he's scoring on the ground, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 games he's averaging better than 45 yards and 83 yards or whatever it was through those first 2 games. He's averaging more these last 3 games than he had the last first 2 games combined. He's completed the last 3 games like close to 70% of his passes. I mean, he's comfortable, and you just hope. We'll see. We didn't get a ton of clarity on the injury situation. I think, to Iowa's credit, you don't need to say anything in your bye week, and I know Wisconsin's worrying about Michigan this week, but hey, you don't need to say anything this week. So I don't think he's out for the year. We'll see if he's available in Madison. Otherwise, it is Hank Brown's show, and we'll go from there next Tuesday. You might remember if you listened to our Indiana recap, Owen said he thought Caden Weegan, not Mark Gronowski, was the most valuable player for the Hawkeyes. So special recognition, because it is certainly due for the Wizard of Williamsburg. Owen Sebring, make your case for Caden Weegan as the most valuable player overall for the Hawkeyes in 2025. Roll that video.
Did you come up with that nickname yourself, Mitch?
No.
Okay. It's a great nickname. And this is a great shot by Sebring again on the rack focus in the Cy-Hawk game.
Owen's humility coming through again.
I just think that there's no more valuable weapon on this team than Caden Weegan right now. He's not going to be the offensive or defensive MVP of the team, but overall, I don't think anybody's done more for you than Caden Weegan. Let's take a look at the Rutgers game. Of course, he had that opening kickoff return for touchdown. Just today on the Pat McAfee show, they were kind of talking about how dispiriting that can be for an opponent when they score on the opening kickoff return. And we even saw that against Iowa when Indiana scored just a couple plays into the game. Of course, you can come back and stay in it, obviously, but that helped break the spirits of Rutgers early on, I think, and helped maybe set the tone for Iowa for the rest of that game. I think that the games where Caden has not done well or has not been as much of a factor, you look at the Iowa State game and the Indiana game, I think those are the games you look at. Obviously, those are Iowa's losses so far. So it seems like, I think, as Caden Weegan goes, so this team will go. I think that he impacts the position on the field, which is something we saw out of Tory Taylor in 2023. And I will still say that Tory Taylor was the MVP of the Hawkeye football team in 2023. And I think that Caden Weegan's the same thing this year, because what does Kirk Ferentz preach all the time is field position. He's in a battle for a field position, and that's what Caden Weegan gives you every time he touches the ball on the return game. He's going to get you maybe an extra 15, 20 yards on top of his catching the ball. Come back here, microphone. Catching the ball at the 20-yard line, he can all of a sudden get you maybe at the 40-yard line and set you up with a short field, which is beneficial for guys like Gronowski and Vanami and Ortworth and whoever's out there. So I think overall, nobody has helped this team more through 5 games than Caden Weegan.
It's hard to do as a punt, kick return too / wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, he's been great in that. I do love, on the offensive side, he makes the defense think when he comes in motion, oh, is it going to be a jet sweep? Because they've done it before. He scored a touchdown on kind of that action where he goes to the outside. But he's also caught a touchdown pass. He just does it all.
Yeah, and I think that right now, I mean, he won the Jet Award last year for the best return man in the nation, and I think if he just gets like 2 or 3 more really quality returns, don't even need to be touchdowns, but, a few more returns of maybe 50 to 60 yards, I think that he's going to win the Jet Award again. I think that overall there's just not as many guys around the country who have had as good of a start to the season as him in the return game, and I think that just a few more would solidify that spot again, potential All-American.
I think he's probably already got it, because there aren't a lot of folks who are going to return a kick and a punt at any point through 12 games during the season. I think he's your Hartung Award winner as the most versatile player in college football, even though he hasn't been on like those weekly teams. It's tough for me to say he's the most versatile player for the Hawkeyes, bar none. And you can make the argument across the Big Ten. It's tough for me to say he's the most valuable when it's only 10 touches on offense, and his entire role is predicated on the other team deciding to let him have an opportunity. Tory Taylor, I agree, was the MVP in 2023 because he had to get, it was either that or go for it on 4th down every time. I wasn't going to go for it on 4th down every time. But again, like if the easiest way to eliminate his impact in a game is just saying, you don't get the ball.
And they can do it.
It's tough. That's really, really tough. But again, when your reputation's that powerful, it's like Batman. Like the signal just goes up in the air and criminals go running. You've seen the movies. Like Caden Weegan's Batman. All you have to do is be 21's back there, kick it out of bounds.
Punt that ball sideways.
Yeah, I mean his reputation precedes him. He's fantastic. I think he'll get some national play again, and anybody who can return like that is going to get a shot on Sundays, and that's going to be awesome. And as a guy who has a ton of Williamsburg ties, I'm thrilled to death about him, and it's been so fun to see. So Caden Weegan, wherever you're ranked, whatever accolades you get, you come a long way from Iowa Western and Williamsburg, man. It's been awesome.
You just wonder, too, about how much he impacts the game. Indiana went for it on 4th and short twice on Saturday, which is something that they've had success doing this year. But you wonder how much Caden Weegan factored into that decision to go for it on 4th down. Like, hey, we could punt the ball, or let's just go ahead and go for it so we don't put the ball in Caden Weegan's hands, because he might rip off a bigger return than just giving the ball over to Iowa at the 45-yard line or whatever.
Caden Weegan does lead the nation in punt return yards, 252, average 31.5 yards per return.
Having a 95-yarder in there helps, yeah.
There is, though, South Carolina's Vakari Swain has 3 punt return touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
In 5 games.
Yeah.
So if touchdowns are like a huge, massive thing, maybe he's got a challenger this year. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
That's why I say, like, maybe just one or two more would, I think,
exactly.
solidify that spot.
There you go. All right, well, defensively, I was wondering how we'd be maybe splintered, for lack of a better word. By the way, on offense, I think, like, you could give the whole offensive line. They've been really good together, even if they struggled a little bit against Indiana. But, yeah, not a ton of options for offensive MVPs just because it's been a different guy every game. Defensively, though, you could probably say the same through 5 games. I thought maybe I think Mike and I had Cohen Entringer as our defensive MVP in the preseason, if we've got that graphic. Do we
Second graphic, Erica, the defensive one, MVP.
I asked Mike like 3 hours ago, hey, can you get those graphics? We're going to use them. And then I completely neglected them in the last little bit. But Cohen Entringer was our preseason defensive MVP. Did you have Graves?
I think I might have put, there
Aaron
we go.
Graves there. You could make a darn good case through 5 games for both these guys.
Sure.
We all three, though, without even planning it, picked Zach Lutmer because Zach got a little play last year, stepped into the cash role this year, and holy cow, has this kid announced his presence with authority time and time again. No bigger play at any point than that interception on Saturday against Indiana. You thought it was going to set up the whole thing. Even if it didn't, what a moment for him. Every tackle this kid's made has hurt us, and we are not the target. He is unleashing some bone-shattering hits. Had the one on Hansen there in the Iowa State game, and has just continued that. You see the stats, 28 tackles, the interception, 4 pass breakups, and a sack for a kid who hadn't started a game yet. Pretty darn good repping for Western Iowa.
He really is a special kind of talent, and I think that it's hopefully not too blasphemous to say that he could be similar to a Cooper DeJean by the time next year comes around, especially if the interceptions keep piling up and the tackles keep piling up. I wonder if Caden Weegan could be around next year too, but if he's not, I wonder if you think about Zach Lutmer as a return guy. Like, he just seems to be all over the field and does everything right, and that's why I think he fits the role of a breakout player. Is that we had heard about Zach Lutmer just because the coaches do kind of talk about guys like this as they're growing and progressing. We hear their names spoken about, but this year fans really are starting to learn about Zach Lutmer.
Yeah, and I the more we see it every year with that cash position, it gives those players a lot of opportunities to make plays, and Zach does that. He's just all over the field. He can hit. He can obviously pick the ball off. He can cover, and that's when I look at the defense. I'm looking at, like, all right, who do I see the most around the ball? And it's always Zach Lutmer. So that was my decision going through. And, yeah, I mean, maybe if there's, like, a couple more picks, you might – I think TJ Hall has been pretty good at that corner spot. We were kind of uncertain, like, which one would be the standout. But he's really solidified that corner position. And, yeah, I mean, Graves has done a lot, too, on the defensive line.
Llewellyn's been really good.
Yeah.
Llewellyn, Herc, I mean, yeah, you've got half a dozen guys you could probably pick as defensive MVP. But to Mike's point, when you're looking around the ball, who do you see more often than not?
Fan can even notice,
you
six
see number 6.
That
6 guy hits really hard. So those are our offensive and defensive MVPs through the first 5 games. Thanks to Pin Seekers for helping us tee it up there to start the pot. Now we switch to our breakout guys, and it actually works out well. We'll recap it quick because we've kind of said everything about Zach Lutmer, but you doubled up and said Zach's your breakout, and again, rightfully so. He's been tremendous.
Yeah, and I just kind of touched on that too. That's why I do think that defines him as a breakout player is just a guy that we'd heard about, that fans might not have known his name at all coming into the season. Another guy from Central Line, George Little Rock, former teammate of Reese Vanderzee, coming in and really setting the tone on the defense this year.
All right, Mike went with his breakout. Who do we have in the preseason for breakouts? We kind of
that last graphic up.
I did 2, and I can't remember if you guys did 2 apiece or if
we did one apiece.
You did 1 apiece. So you got your offensive MVP, who we talked about, Mark Gronowski, Reese Vanderzee.
If you want to skip to the last one.
And now you've got for our breakout stars, brought to you by Tobacco and Pin Seekers. There we go. So I went T.J. Washington, Carson Shire. Owen went with Cohen Entringer. Mike went with Nathan McNeil. Again, all these guys, maybe not mine so much, but you guys certainly had your opportunities. But Owen goes for Zach Lutmer. Mike has shifted a bit from Nathan McNeil, who, hey, maybe that role is going to keep growing.
Time, yeah.
We've seen a little bit, but I like your pick as well.
I will say also, though, that both Carson Shire and Cohen Entringer were considerations for me for breakout player this year, too.
Yeah.
So far. I mean,
Carson, especially those first couple games, talk about a guy who was around the ball. T.J. Washington only got 1 carry, 1 touch against Indiana.
That was odd. I mean, I don't want to sidetrack it, but, like, start He wasn't a starter on the depth chart, but he played the first play. And then
It sounds like maybe he was banged up because you heard Tim in Wednesday's episode talk about they only finished with 2 healthy backs, and I imagine those are Kamari and Nathan. So we'll see. But I like Mike's pick for breakout players, especially these last 3 games. He's really come into his own.
So didn't have a catch against Albany, Sam Phillips. But right now, as it stands, he leads the teams in receiving yards with 179 yards. He's second in catches with 11. Again, despite not having a single catch in the first game, even though he did take a punt return back. And second in targets at 14. And one of the big stats that I circled too is 17.9 yards per reception. That's the highest on the team this year. I looked back at last year's, and I kind of wanted to weed out the Seth Anderson actually had
a 40-yarder, yeah.
Yeah, and Ortworth was the highest, because he had one 40-yard reception. Yep. So I kind of wanted to put it to 10 yards, or 10 receptions, cap it out that, because Seth had 5 catches and it was 21 point.
Yeah, because you have
6.
a 40 and that'll do it for you.
Yeah, for sure. And the highest ones were like Gill and Reese Vanderzee. They had about 14 and 13, which I think is good.
Yeah,
you don't want under than that.
Jacob had a huge one against UCLA on the road as well. But
if
yeah,
you can go
Sam,
like
and then
20,
Sam pulling this off in punt returns. I almost forgot about this play.
Yeah, and when you look at across the country, and we were talking before the show, like if you look at like an Ohio State or a team with better passing offense, you look at the numbers and you're like, okay, these aren't that great. But when you're looking at past Iowa's history in the past 4 years, like these numbers are pretty good, and they're on the way to exceed like the past few years receiving output. So I thought Sam Phillips, he looks like he's a go-to receiver. I think he's only 1 drop on the year, and once Reese comes back, and I really hope Dayton Howard gets more playing time, because that one catch late in the game when he came back to the ball for Hank and got that first down,
a big play.
And especially the Rutgers like big play. I think those 3 receivers can be effective.
Sam Phillips gets a little forgotten, especially with Reese Vanderzee, all the talk about him coming into the year. But this is a guy who started, let me count, 34 games at Chattanooga his first 3 years, and he started huge. Every game this year. I mean, a guy who starts all 4 years of college. As long as he can keep up this production for the remainder of Iowa's schedule, not get injured, he's a guy that could be a sneaky low-round draft pick or something for the NFL next year.
Yeah, we'll see. He plays the X, which is what RVZ plays. So when Reese comes back, does he take a step back?
Slot?
There's
I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild that they both play X and there's 7 inches of height difference.
I think Sam could play different, right? Like
yeah,
he
could
move in if you need to. Might be more
Sam,
effective.
hey, Reese is such a great run blocker. Sam got in there that long one that Kamari had at one point on Saturday. Sam was in there getting a block. Does a heck of a job in the run blocking too, because you're a receiver at Iowa. You better know how to run block. My breakout player, Mike alluded to him a little bit. Listen, TJ Hall started 7 games last year, spots here and there, had a fumble recovery in the opener against Illinois State. We wondered, boy, if he's CB1 coming into this year, like, what's that going to be? Because we know him going back to 22 against Nebraska, getting thrown in for Cooper getting hurt and taking some lumps. TJ Hall has been outstanding. 17 tackles, but 7 pass breakups. That's tied for 4th best in the country. Listen, teams have come after him. Rocco Becht came after him a couple times in Ames. You see it right there. Kyliak Manis went after him in Piscataway a couple weeks ago. TJ Hall's answered the bell every damn time, and it's been impressive. He is, constantly gets asked about his growth, and, if you read between the lines, when players are being asked about your growth, like, well, you've sucked for a while. What happened? And, we don't mean that. Like, don't mean it like that. But listen, everyone saw his lumps in 24 or 22 against Nebraska. You're seeing him there on YouTube in 24 against Nebraska, where he was really coming into his own. It's just been, Phil talked about it too, seeing these players grow. In Wednesday's episode, Phil Parker talked about just seeing guys get better and grow within the program. TJ Hall's perfect at that. Everyone saw him stumble and struggle in 22, and in 23 he was banged up part of the year too. But really since that Maryland game last year when he got a pick, an amazing over-the-shoulder pick, he has been outstanding. He's earned the right to be DB1, CB1, and he's been a breakout guy for me. It's been really, really fun to see a kid from all the way from Fresno, California. Iowa doesn't get a lot of NorCal guys a whole lot. Him, Spencer Petras, and maybe a handful of others. Just awesome to see TJ doing well. Really, really happy for him.
So I'm curious, after we've talked about MVPs now, who would you two say is your overall MVP on this year's team?
It's still Mark.
I think, coupled with, his production and the quarterback position just being so important in today's football in general. Yeah, I'd probably say him.
Okay.
All right. Well, we had some preseason predictions, our bold predictions. If we've got the graphic to show that.
We didn't get that one.
We didn't get that one? Okay. So we're just going to go.
I've got it, though, pulled up. I just
All right.
I didn't put it in the thing.
Who remembers their preseason bold prediction?
So let's start with Mitch's. He said total defense, yards per game improves. That was yours.
Which it has like this much through 5 games.
Yeah.
I think they finished 21st in 2024. Let me look it up, but they're 15th right now. So they've done a little bit better. Again, 5 games left, 8 explosive plays given up. But I think overall we've seen, okay, like maybe you don't have the superstars, but maybe you're able to hold the standard a little bit. Obviously, there's a gauntlet still to come, but I'm feeling okay about that so far.
That would be impressive if that's the way they end the season after playing teams like Oregon and Penn State and USC. If they end there, that will be pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, Iowa finished 26th in total defense. Last year, they are 21st right now.
And Owen, you remember yours?
I remember mine was that Iowa doesn't make a bowl game, which I will say is definitely on the table still. I mean, I think that a lot is going to be dictated by the Wisconsin game. If somehow Iowa goes out there and loses to Wisconsin, I think that you are really sweating out whether or not they can make a bowl game because there are a lot of really tough opponents coming down the final stretch. If Nebraska continues to get better, that's a tough way to end your season. We just mentioned the other 3 ranked teams that you've got to play. So lots, I think, going to be dictated by the Wisconsin game. There are a lot of tough games on the schedule, and it's going to, I think, be a little bit dictated, too, by how the injuries pile up. Because that was my caveat. I'm like, if Gronowski gets injured, Iowa could not make a bowl game. If the injuries pile up, and that's kind of what has been happening right now. And so it's going to be dictated by what happens at QB1 for Iowa.
Yeah, injuries are just such a make or break, kind of thing in the season. If you do go in to Camp Randall with Hank making his first Big Ten road start, like
it is not a sure thing anymore.
I mean, I think that they could still win, but you never know, especially in a rivalry game. Mm-hmm. I had offense averages 30-plus points per game, which right now they're averaging 29.4 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that made field goal.
I was going to say, I don't know if that one field goal from Drew would have put it over the top, but no hard feelings. But they're close, although, a lot of tough defenses on the schedule, so hopefully that can get, the points can get up there because Iowa has a ridiculous stat, and I don't have the exact win-loss percentage. If they scored like 21 or 24 points a game, they've lost like 2 games in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm. It's a good stat.
It's just getting to that point total.
Yeah. There's the rub. Yeah.
Because they would be 5-0 if they scored like 24.
Yep.
Or 21 at least. A game.
There you go. But hey, 5 games in. We'll see what happens in the next 7, hopefully 8. But nice to break this up a little bit during the bye week. Normally we was just on the one episode and just kind of squeeze everything into like a 65-minute behemoth. I think we're going like 40 and 20 to 25 here. So hopefully on a Friday, you're getting a little more out of this as you head out to high school football games. We're getting ready for Eastern Iowa OT. We're flying through the high school football season. Holy cow, it's October already. It just feels like it's July. Of course, thanks for watching on the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel. If you did, you got the Eye on the Hawks playlist that you can follow, whether it's just the episodes themselves or of our extended post-game and pre-game interviews with all the players and everything else we're doing, recapping games from Kinnick Stadium or wherever the Hawks may be. So thanks for doing that, and we're listening to wherever you listen to your podcast. We're going to be back on Tuesday looking ahead to that battle for the Heartland Trophy at Camp Randall, Iowa visiting Wisconsin. Who's going to play quarterback? Hopefully we'll know by next Wednesday. We'll need something to talk about as we break down the Badgers. Big thanks to Director Erica, as always, for running the show. For Mike and Owen, I'm Mitch. See you on Wednesday in your next edition on Eye on the Hawks.
At DePaco Credit Union, we value your health and happiness as much as your financial well-being. We encourage the volunteer spirit by providing DePaco employees with the tools and resources to help grow our communities and support the causes that matter to us. We believe that giving back not only strengthens the places we call home, but also enhances our overall well-being. Well-being is the key to a life worth loving. So when you think about yours, remember that DePaco can help you be well.